you yourself as the manager have to take responsibility for what you can take responsibility for. If the decision is out of your hands, it's not your fault, right? But yet a lot of managers that I support, they feel very guilty, right? They take it upon themselves, but actually it is not their fault.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Wise and Shine. I'm your host, Ashley Budget Babe Dawn, and today we don't have Reggie on set, but we have someone better. I'm just kidding. We have Stanley, who some of you guys might recognize as the overemployed, overworked, but Stanley.
I am the guy who's working in 4 different jobs, and today we also have a very special guest. She is known as the Glocal person. So let us have her to introduce a little bit more about herself before we jump into the show.
Yes, Chuen Chuen, over to you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Chuen Chuen. My surname is Yeo. So one way I always like to break the ice is to introduce myself as the Glocal coach. So why Glocal? I've studied and lived in Singapore all my life, but yet today I have supported leaders from nearly 40 countries, therefore the Glocal coach. I'm also the author of the book Leaders People Love. Recently has won the silver medal in the Agile Business Book Awards, which I'm very happy about. So really pleasure to meet both of you, the overworked and an amazing Dawn. I've heard so much about you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, but today it's not about me, it's about you.
About
and
you.
I think what we want to know is congratulations on the award. That's why we wanted to get your insights, because it's tough being a leader.
Yes.
Especially being a leader that people actually love. And you wrote a lot about this topic in your latest book, which was out in December last year. Right?
Correct.
What are, if you could distill it down to just 3 things that you see leaders who are loved versus leaders who are hated? What are 3 things that we see in leaders that are loved?
Like traits-wise or characteristics.
So, okay, actually someone challenged me, why love? Do I need to love my leader? And I post back the question, when I wake up on Monday morning, do I need to look forward to the rest of my day? Right? And I think a lot hinges on the kind of leaders that we work with. So 3 characteristics of leaders people would love to work with and work for. Number 1, don't turn people into mini-me's. Right? You know, like long time ago, okay, maybe not some of the listeners' generation. What's the show? Austin Power?
What?
Not Stanley, not your generation.
We all know Austin Power. What's the show name? Was it?
I know the show name.
I also forgot the show name.
I forgot the show name, but I remember
I know
the
show.
Yeah, there's a
series.
mini-me thing, right? And this is very prevalent in the workplace where leaders say, I did it this way, therefore you do it my way. And since I can do it, you can do it too.
Right.
I think that's the first trait we don't want. Then in replacement, we want leaders who are very strengths-focused. Strengths-focused and appreciate individual unique qualities.
Right.
See the people for them, who they are, instead of like their number, their your arms and legs. Don't look at that as the output or the people who will get your work done. There's this saying, don't look at your people as minions. Right, it's not a good label. Right? I think that's quite disempowering. So first trait to be a strengths-focused leader. Second trait is to be good. I want to use the word storyteller, but it's actually more than that. You know, there's this phrase: everyone communicates, but few connect.
Yes. Oh wow, I remember that.
Right, from John Maxwell.
Yes, John
It's one
Maxwell.
of his book. I started my own personal development journey with John Maxwell's content. So his content resonates with me. Don't be a talker. Don't be a person who talks and talk at your people.
Right.
But connect with them. And that changes when you focus on the individuals. Right? You care about whether they have understood you, what do they currently know, what are their objections, and therefore how can you make things make sense to them. Right? So that kind of communicator. So what I teach is leadership storytelling. It's not about speaking on a stage as a public speaker. It's about being clear and being an audience-centric communicator. So if I say first trait was strengths-focused leader. Second one is to be an audience-centric communicator.
like know who you're talking to.
Yes.
Okay.
Know who you're talking to, understand their biases. Don't fault them for their bias because everyone have them, right?
Yeah, that's an important reminder. Don't fault people for their biases.
Correct. And because everybody grows up in different environments, we are exposed to different experiences. So how can we expect people to be like us?
Exactly.
Right? And then it would be quite scary, right? Everybody buys only one thing in the market, eats the same kind of dish every single day like everybody else. That's really frightening. So or be audience-centric. The third one, if I combine all the other parts of my framework together, because you only give me 3 options.
Yeah, only 3.
I have not choose.
More than 3 to share.
I can like talk about it all day.
People got short attention span, so you make it easy.
Exactly. So that's where the audience centricity comes in, right? You know the attention span. The third one, lifelong learner.
Okay.
Lifelong learner. A lot of the inspiring leaders I know, they are the ones who are always very humble. Even though they are experts in their fields, they have years of experience, they don't talk down to people like, I eat salt more than you eat rice. That kind of conversation. They don't have that. And they are constantly curious, wanting to learn more and more. So things like reverse mentoring. Right? If you have a new Gen Z coming into the workforce, instead of telling them, you this young punk, let me tell you how you should do your work. That's not going to work. But instead, if you're a lifelong learner and not just seeking knowledge, understanding other generations, understanding what definition of success is to them, then you can become a leader people love.
Or learning from them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
Gen Zs have a lot of new things.
Yes.
Or how to take better selfies.
Right. 0.5. I recently
Yeah,
addicted to
different
it.
methods of
Are
doing
you
it.
kidding me? I thought you are that generation.
I would love to be, but I'm not. Thank you for the compliment though. I'll take it.
Okay, I think it's easy to be a leader who's loved when you're still in that position and the people are still under you or with you. But in the light of all the recessions and layoffs that have been happening, is it still even possible to be a leader who's loved when you let someone go? So from the person perspective, the one who was being deprived of their job, asked to leave the company, and especially in tech companies where it's very abrupt because of the fact that
suddenly they will have a Zoom call and
your access is cut off, right? Because tech being tech, you cannot let the person have access for longer than their role validity is. So it's very, very shocking to most people. How can the leader still be loved despite having to make these tough decisions?
So being loved while you have to deliver bad news. Right? I think that's
the question.
Art, right? And perhaps this also goes into the topic of how do you lead with tough love? Because love, there's indulgent love, which means you let them do anything they want and you don't teach them anything and they don't become better people than they were before they came to your hands. That's
They're calling like parenting is called spoiled brat.
It is there because there are many parallels, right? Like relationship in school between teacher and student, at home, parent-child, and in the office, manager and employee. These are parallels. We have to recognize that in the social learning theory, we learn through these social interactions. We understand how to operate with people of power. So back to the topic of how can I be a leader people will love if I have to let somebody go. I think number one is you yourself as the manager have to take responsibility for what you can take responsibility for. If the decision is out of your hands, it's not your fault. Right? But yet a lot of managers that I support, they feel very guilty. Right? They take it upon themselves, but actually it is not their fault. Right? Sometimes, the world is like that. We can do everything right. But you will still get it wrong. Like check every single box and you still get it wrong. Then I think it is the art of being very empathetic in conveying the harsh reality or the tough message. There's this concept of dignity. Everybody, including young children, need to have dignity. Right? And if we, at the letting go conversation at Zoom, we make people feel like, okay, right now, this is happening to the company. This is tough for everyone. We have no choice. If we had a choice, we wouldn't want to let you go, but it has to happen. What can I do as your manager to help you along and find the next best posting, the next best job? A lot of the managers, when I suggest to them, open doors for them. Open doors for people that you are forced to let go. Or open doors for people who are mismatched for your team. It actually helps a lot because it helps people move on with dignity, knowing that I'm not the right fit here, but I'm not lousy or worthless. I'm just in the wrong place. And can you give me your blessings and help me find a better place? And as a manager, I think this is the opportunity. If as managers, we are spending more time with our team members and we know very well, very intuitively who is good at what, their strengths. So back to the strengths first leadership, right? If you know who can do what, you know who is great for whichever opportunity, be the spokesperson, even if the opportunity is outside of the company.
That's why I agree with you. In fact, this is not my personal experience, but like for one of my good friends who runs his own like medium enterprise business, he was also in a position where he had to let go some key personnel. During COVID times, I recall having a call from this good friend of mine. He was asking me if my side have any vacancy because he has to let go some of his team members. In a way, what I think he did right in that sense from this taking a leaflet from what you just shared, right, is that he tried his best to open doors for the people he had to let go. Yeah. So in a way, it's not like, okay, I have to let you go and that's it, goodbye. But it's more like I'm letting you go, but I'm also trying to find if there's suitable placement opportunities for you. And he helped to also forward like a few CVs over to my side and a few other of our friends' circles as well. So I find that that's one of the things that the new generation of leaders actually who are loved tend to do as well in a way. So I agree with you, opening doors is a great point.
I think that's also something that has been happening in recent years. We see a lot of publicity about this being done in the US and it's starting to trickle down to here in Asia as well, where we see people, it could be something small such as writing a testimonial on LinkedIn. For your worker, or it could be connecting someone with a job opportunity.
Exactly.
Or it could be being their referee to help them with their next job.
Correct.
And I think that really helps to lessen the pain. And I love how you stated dignity. At the end of the day, it's just about it's how the person feels. Right? If the person feels undignified and looked down upon and they feel like crap, then they're less likely to respect and or love the leader.
That's correct.
But we still love our parents even when they correct us because we understand there is a place, they come from a certain place, and even though we may not always relate or we wish they did things differently, but we don't end up hating them. I think that's a very powerful analogy that you've drawn there. Chuen Chuen, you also talk about in your book agile leadership. So for our listeners who are not familiar with this term, how would you define what this is?
So a super simple definition, a simple one. Being an agile leader means you are relevant and effective regardless of context. So for me, my main objective is to make leadership principles practicable. Right? So it must be simple. So I just ask leaders to think about two things. Are you relevant? Are you effective for this particular context? Because it's very common to see high-performing managers move from one company to the next. And they become total flops.
Lose relevancy.
Lose relevance completely. They're like, I did this like fast for the last 5 years, therefore it should work. I said, no, there's no such thing like it should work. You're working with different people. The rules of the game have changed. So just look at relevancy and whether you are still being effective. And at different points in the career, different position, different portfolio, what is effective, how you measure effectiveness will change, right? Because you may be brought in to perform a completely different function. Like many leaders I work with, they rise in their functional expertise, but eventually at a certain level, they will cross over to other functions. Right, they have to collaborate with other functional experts. Then the effectiveness comes from how you are able to bring about collaboration, which then taps into different skills. So just think about, are you relevant? Are you effective? and you will know how you need to flex and adapt and be agile.
So in a way, I would say that it's more like it's based on circumstantial situation, whether you are relevant, whether the inputs that you have are effective in that sense. So I think this is quite relatable for my side, because like when I work with different individuals, I work with 4 different jobs. So in different jobs, I apply different principles. So I can't exactly say like this thing that I've done in XYZ company will be effective for ABC company.
Yes.
Based on the role, based on the scope,
Correct.
and based on the things that I do. So I recall like in one of my latest organizations that I joined, I'm joining as one of the subject matter expert for, let's say, business and strategy. But I do work with a lot of other departments, which is a bit different from the other companies I do, because in the other organization, I could be more of I manage a small little team of my own, and I don't actually collaborate between departments. So based on that, I think being agile in that case will be knowing that I'm just working with a different group of people, and at the same time, the objective that I'm trying to bring about, it measures my effectiveness in a sense. Am I
Correct. One thing I want to add is, because it can sound very much like situational leadership, which is another way to look at leadership.
Yeah.
But what troubled me was, you mean we just change according to the context? Then where is our sense of self and authenticity? Right? So like Stanley, there's still one Stanley with 4 different facets. Performing 4 different roles, creating success through different means, but there's one Stanley. And
it's still a core me person.
Correct.
Yeah.
So coming from that core, who you are, the best value, strengths that you bring to the table, but you use it flexibly.
Yeah.
I like, this Doraemon, 小叮当.
I can take it out from your pouch.
Yeah, from your 包包袋啦, from
the pouch.
from your pouch. Like, you have so many good things in you. You don't have to showcase everything at one go. You pick the best situation and you bring out the right tools and the right you.
So in a way, it's not overloaded, and people still value what you have and your input as well at the same time.
Correct. And at the same time, you will also build trust more easily, because fundamentally, you are guided by the same principles. You know how leaders erode trust is when what they say in one context
don't match what they do.
don't match what they do, or don't match what they tell or project to another person. Because people talk.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like,
why is he telling me A?
Yeah.
But do the other thing.
And then you told the other person B. But we can say that I am flexing to the context, but where is that?
What's the core, right?
What is the core? What is the eternal truth?
Yeah.
And that congruence will help people understand that you are flexible but also authentic. And that makes people trust you, which in today's context, trust is rated very, very high.
Agree.
No trust, no talk.
Right.
Trust fund, no kidding. Different thing altogether.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying Wise and Shine so far. I'm your host Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut, and for us to continue to do this show so that you become a tad bit wiser every week, you gotta like, share, subscribe, help us beat the algorithm, but even more importantly, if you can, comment in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts and also some questions that you would love us to answer. Now back to the show.
Earlier on in our conversation before this recording started, you were also saying about how middle managers, you ran a survey. What was the outcome of the survey and what questions did you ask?
Yeah, okay. So when I was writing my book, Leaders People Love, of course, how it came about was because I work with so many leaders one-to-one. It's a very intimate and private setting where they share unfiltered thoughts about what they think is really happening and their real emotions, right? And I have started seeing patterns, but I wanted to validate with a wider audience whether the strategies that I'm proposing, would it help people and to what extent? So this survey, I call it Leaders People Love Global Survey. Not very creative, but
Well,
And it's efficient.
it's efficient.
And it's relevant.
relevant.
Correct. So 3 things I wanted to measure. First was how happy are people and how much does managerial effectiveness affect that? Right? Because when people are happy, we cannot say manager's job is to make me happy. No, we have to make ourselves happy. Right? But I want to know how great, significant is the impact of manager effectiveness. Second one is, what do employees want from their managers and what they want from organizations. Sometimes managers, there are certain behaviors employees want, but certain things like hygiene factors, salary, stuff
outside
like that.
of your
That's
control,
out of manager control, right? So second one. The third one was, how disruptive do employees perceive the work climate to be, and whether managers are effective in leading change. Right, of course, that spill into a part. There's a 3A, 3B, 3C. 3C is then what do managers need to do, right? So the findings in a nutshell, most people are in the middle. That means they are neither very unhappy nor happy. Of course, the sample size for me, it was mostly for my LinkedIn audience. So maybe by natural selection, people who go on LinkedIn are happier. Maybe it's a possibility.
Actually, maybe no. Maybe they go on LinkedIn to find their next job.
So
because they are happy. Yeah, so you could be capturing
open
both
to work,
ends.
right?
Possibly, but at least based on the data I've collected, we have extremes. Most people are in the middle, like a normal bell curve.
Yeah.
They are like neither too happy, not too unhappy, nor over
Like a
the
5-6
moon.
kind of
Kind of like that. So quite in the middle. What they want, what they also then corroborate is that when managers are very effective, their happiness will increase. And this is true across the board, whether they are individual contributors, younger managers, middle managers, or senior management. Same. What they want from managers, top 3, recognition. At least recognize my effort.
Right.
Don't just look at my output.
Which actually goes back to what you say about dignity as well.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you cannot say that, oh, you're totally useless, you're a bad employee because you didn't meet your target this month. But what about the other things that I've done that make a difference? Can you see me? So recognition. Number 2 is trust me to do my best. So trust me to do my best is very interesting because have you ever worked with leaders who want to catch you doing wrong?
I have plenty.
Plenty.
In my early stages of my career.
Yeah, early stages, right? And
Yeah.
of course, it comes from a certain school of thought.
Yeah.
So catching people doing wrong versus catching people doing right, that is the difference.
Yeah.
So if I feel that my manager trusts me to do my best, he or she is trying to catch me doing right or believe that I have good intentions and I'm doing my level best.
Right.
There won't be silly questions like, how can you make this mistake? It's like nobody wakes up in the morning and think, I'm going to purposely screw up the day and I'm purposely going to do this wrongly.
Unless you really hate the company.
Of course. I
I want to lose your job.
mean, that's like pure malicious.
Yeah, I mean, there are
right?
also the other extreme.
There are,
for sure.
But
yeah.
I think most
people are actually it's quite stable.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
So trust me to do my best is quite good. The third one, care about me as a person. That's very important. I don't know whether you knew I used to be a teacher.
I
used to teach mathematics.
Math, right? Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
your bio.
And one thing that makes a difference to my students at that time is, number 1, I remember all their names by the end of the first lesson.
Wow.
I make it a
You
point.
really,
Very
you really
good
make them feel
memory
very good.
skills.
Yeah, I make it a point. Of course, initially I will memorize by their position. Then they will be very naughty and try to switch places to confuse me, I think names is one thing. Second thing is noticing small things about them. Even I have students who change hair parting. I say, hey, change your parting, right? Or something different about your hair. Something about you today. Or what happened? Why you look so a bit low
Downcast,
energy?
yeah.
What happened?
Which makes the other person feel seen. In their
Yes, feel seen. So feeling seen, heard, understood, super important. Super important. So managers just need to do these 3 things. I think show up as a good fellow human being. Right? I think that's really important. I want to fast forward to other very interesting and potentially juicy findings. from this survey.
Okay, spill the beans. What's the juiciest finding?
So, there are 4 groups of people that I asked, right, how happy they are, right? ICs, the individual contributors, junior managers, middle managers, and senior managers. The happiest of this lot, senior managers.
Oh.
Because they made it already. Is it?
They made it
They have
already.
been there, done that.
And they have the control.
Oh yeah, they have
Correct.
control. Yeah.
Correct. And they also generally have fewer direct reports.
Maybe also got higher pay also.
Pay satisfaction. Pay satisfaction.
right.
I think that too, because it covers the most basic needs.
Yeah.
Right? Most unhappy middle managers.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Was that like a 90-something% kind of finding or a 60-something?
like how many percent
Yeah,
happy?
how
Yeah, what's the-
overwhelming was the most unhappy?
Okay, so senior managers 26% say that they are very happy, compared to MMs middle managers 8.2, 3 times, just 3 times more.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it is true, right? I think when you
It's a factual thing though.
Yeah,
I think it's a factual thing. Yeah.
correct. So in my own podcast, when I spoke with the head of learning and development, he said, the middle managers, they are like the sandwich. They are the meat that's squashed between the layers. Everybody is squeezing them. Boss squeezing them, team also squeezing them. Then they have no outlet.
Yeah. So question, there are some people in life where they just don't have a lot of ambition. Or for certain reasons, they don't want to climb up because they have other things in other priorities.
Let it prioritize.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe in their family, their kids or their elderly, they're caregivers, so they're very tired. They really don't want these additional responsibilities.
Yeah.
They're happy to remain at middle manager level. How can they then? Because your book also talks about happiness and meaning in work as crucial foundations, right? How can they get out of this unhappy mindset without leaving the middle manager role?
Yeah.
And just doing themselves and their own mental health a favor by staying there but being happier.
Yeah. A lot is the mindset. So I recently wrote a post about stress at work. I said, what is stressing you is not the work, but the meaning that you assign to the work. Right? So as middle managers, okay, I think as an Asian society, we have very high fear of failure. This is my research project in my doctoral studies right now. Something I connect with because I also feel the fear of failure. Like we feel like you can go up but you cannot come down. If you say, I stepped down or whatever, have I fallen from grace or anything?
Like the peaks and valleys of life.
Mm-hmm.
But we expect it's a straight line or better still escalator to the top,
直通车.
There'll be always ups and downs.
Yeah, there will always be ups and downs. So I think that stress is very real. I mean, for middle managers, age 30s, 40s, 50s. From 40s onwards, the stress level by research is higher. Just simply by season of life. We have young children. If you have kids, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of aged
Elderly,
parents.
yeah.
Correct. So it is a reality of life. So can we be more compassionate to ourselves and be more realistic about what we want to do and what we can give?
So the inner voices and the stories we tell ourselves are so crucial to getting out of that mindset.
Exactly. So the self-talk matters. It's a script that continues to repeat again and again and again until you break the script. So a lot of the common patterns that I see, overly self-sacrificial, overly responsible. So like earlier we spoke about how can managers let go of staff and still be a people leader right? If it's not your responsibility, you cannot take responsibility for it.
That's a good point. Yeah, like stop taking ownership of everything.
Stop reproaching yourself for things that are not your pasa in that sense.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and focus on your locus of control, right? So as a middle manager, I may be very stretched for time, but if I look at things in the longer horizon, let's say in the competing priorities now, take care of my aged parent or take care of my team. You have to choose one. There's only one of you.
But this one feels like the question whereby, when there are two things dropping into the sea, right? Which one do we say first?
Yes.
That's like a trick question.
True. So one thing then I teach is the future back thinking. Imagine, like in this time, you're so tormented. I'll ask you, when you are 70, 75, whichever age you feel is right, okay? And you look back at this moment, what do you want to have done? Of course, I'll take care of my parents.
I think it's a good perspective,
More
zooming
like
out.
regret, is it?
Yeah, preventing regret. So we use future back thinking.
Right.
That means you go to the future first, then we look back at this.
I love that. Yeah, I think because in the moment we tend to prioritize work. A lot of us are guilty, myself included, of sometimes choosing work over family, thinking that, we can always spend more time with the family over the weekend or do something to make up for it. But I like how you apply that perspective whereby if we are later on or on our deathbed, looking back at this moment, what would we have chosen to do?
Yes,
I think it's more like
correct.
looking back in retrospect. Like this.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to prevent a possibility of regret. So that's one thing that I wrote about in my book, because how I left my teaching career, it wasn't because I was unhappy or whatever. It was because I felt like there was more that I can give. And I needed a different context, different platform to create a bigger change. Therefore, I stepped out. And what happened was I was being pushed into the operating theatre and asked to sign the indemnity in case I don't wake up from the GA. And then I'm like, I haven't done anything in my life, Oh, shoots. I better do something if I wake up, And it's quite
It's like a wake-up call in a way.
it is a wake-up call, and you just realize, oh my God, time is so precious. Your energy, your effort, your attention is so precious. There's actually no way to make up,
Yeah.
right? Like we miss our baby's first steps. We miss it.
Yeah.
I miss one of my kids' kindergarten graduation. I missed it. Looking at the pictures is just not the same, right?
You're just not in the moment. You miss that moment. Like that.
Correct. And you know why? Because I went to work. And so then there is that identity, right? Like, why is our success and failures at work so important? Why did we allow it to be so intricately linked to our self-worth?
Yeah.
Right?
Agree.
Like, same as how students might show up in school, like I got 80 points, therefore I'm not good enough.
But why is that so, right?
Why is that so?
Yeah,
Where
it's the
did
stories that they tell themselves.
Exactly. So it's formed because of our upbringing, but we can, with more awareness, break that script. So I think that's also one thing middle managers need to do as well, that they don't need to sacrifice everything just to get the job done. They have the right to have a meaningful life. And I think thirdly, you don't have to do it alone. Middle managers is not a savior. Right? You are not expected to be the superhero. It's okay to ask for help.
Right. So not taking on everything. And I think I like how you shared about how a lot of this unhappiness comes from the stories and the scripts that we tell ourselves. So for a leader to actually make the other person feel heard, feel seen, and feel recognized, it can then help to disrupt those negative scripts in their head. And that then changes everything together.
Because first step, if you want to help others be seen, heard, understood, do it for yourself first.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, that's a really good conclusion. We learned a lot from this episode.
Very insightful.
Thank you, Chuen Chuen, for sharing us with your thoughts. Maybe we can go one circle to wrap up.
Sure.
But I can start first about the key takeaways that we got from this discussion. I think to me, what was very insightful was the future dated thing.
Future back thinking.
Yes, future back thinking. So look into the future and ask myself, in my 70s, in my 80s, what would I have wished I had done? And I can definitely answer that. I wish I was there for my child's kindergarten graduation, which is coming soon.
No need to retrospect.
And then also be there for their first day of school or their first week to help them adapt. Because these are the moments that the kids will remember, we will remember. I think it's important to keep having this reflection as I go through work. Because it's very easy to just always say yes to work and forget about these. Yeah, but I love how actually when you are towards the end of your life or when you're questioning all these things, no one ever wishes they did more work. It's always the other way around. So
Exactly.
eliminating room for regret.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway, Stanley?
For me, it's I think retrospect is a good perspective, but
Cannot say because I take already.
yeah, but I think the research in terms of the middle managers as well as senior managers, the unhappiness index itself, kind of give me a good perspective that I need to treat the middle managers I work with a lot better. Yeah, not that I don't treat them well enough, but I feel like they too go through a lot in a way, and it's very important to help them also feel that they are supported.
Yeah.
And it's something that, like right now in my current career, I do work with quite a number of middle managers because I usually sit at slightly higher than middle manager these days. So what I do is that I think I could actually take one step further to make them feel heard and help them to, let them know that, they are not doing this alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, although as much as company side, we are looking at output, we are looking at generating good, reports generally, but it's important to really help the middle managers feel they are, okay, because I would say that entire ecosystem, the employees, the junior team members, they are always well taken care of in a sense, because middle managers will make sure that they are happy, they are satisfied.
But who takes care of the middle
Who takes care of
managers?
middle manager?
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good perspective, and I will keep that in mind when I work with my team moving forward as well.
With senior management, there's always this gap. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can ask them, even if Stanley, you go and ask them, how are you? They will say, I'm great. But they go to the corner and cry. Because they don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's important to let them know that it's okay to not be okay, in that sense.
Yeah.
So
That's like the drama.
oh yeah. I'm taking a lot of references.
I think it's a great reminder though. So for HR also, having these conversations will likely spur HR to make the changes for the organization so that they can also prevent the attrition.
Yeah.
Because if the middle managers are that unhappy, they will leave.
They will.
Right?
They will burn out. They will. They are no use to anyone if they are
Exactly.
burned
And
out,
it's a
even
cost to the
themselves.
organization. It's a measurable KPI if they leave and you have to replace.
Yeah.
So preventing that would be a HR onus. So HR, this was on you as well.
Or HR, they're very stressed out.
JJ, what is your any last key message that you want our audience to hear from you on this topic?
I think, I always feel very, this feeling very sayang, very wasted. Wasted. Like I see a good up and coming manager, but because they feel stuck, they feel like maybe this is not for me, therefore they want to step down or they want to scale back, which is a waste because if with the right help, these leaders are actually able to move the needle significantly because they have their heart in the right place, which is very people-oriented. And all they need is that support. They need someone, they don't have to do everything on their own. And with support, they can actually go on and benefit a lot more people. But the reason why I left teaching service is because I believe managers can make or break someone's experience.
Yep.
And someone's well-being, life, belief
Agree.
about themselves.
Right.
And we need more great managers. That's why I wrote this book.
Right.
So guys, if you want to check out Chuen Chuen's work, you can get a copy of her book, or you can also find her on LinkedIn. She's a LinkedIn top voice at Chuen Chuen Yeo. Right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We learned so much. Thank you so much for your time and sharing with us all these insights. And we will see you guys on the next episode of Wise and Shine.
Take
See
care.
you.
Bye-bye.